Damn. All right, don't get me started. I was getting ready to start singing
Yeah,
again.
don't get us
No,
copyrighted
no, no.
again.
Do you want me to start singing Ryan or no?
No, no, we don't need to get banned again.
It's crazy. Excuse me, because I'm always calling you up. Tell everybody when I'm like in the truck now. I mean, because we had pretty much followers since or for about a year now. So I'm guessing I got a couple comments in the other day. I don't know if you saw them that, all right, you had to start telling us more about what other stuff do you and Ryan talk about other than UConn basketball? Like Rod and I have one of them almost like not even a cousin relationship. We're almost like brothers, and it's crazy. 'Cause I know, like, tell them like what I do, like for randomly. I'll call you up when I'm on the highway, windows roll down in the truck, right? And all of a sudden, I'll just be like, Ryan, finish this song for me, and I'll start singing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to I don't know what to think sometimes, but I I try to keep up with everything that's going on. But yeah, I mean that sometimes Phil will call me just out of the blue and have me singing songs or trying to guess the lyrics to a song. I never really know what to expect anymore, but I'm pretty used to it now. It's I've grown to get pretty used to it.
Man, look, all right. With that, with that said, I know it's crazy because I'm like, every time we hit the record button, people are going to think, what are they doing? Like, what are they talking about before they're going on to these podcasts? And you're like, and then how about I'm telling you, I'm like, how about if I had to go get back to Austin about actually having a clip episode stuff that Phil and Rod talk about before they actually go on the podcast and hit record. Man,
Yeah.
that like a trailer full of clips of bloopers they call them. Oh boy, that would be something to watch.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That would be pretty funny because we always like to have fun. We like to keep it loose most of the time.
We
So
need to. We need to. So for guys that wondering what happened behind the scenes, Ron and I have to really get loosened up and get the nerves out, huh? Before you hit the record button. Because hey, when you talk about UConn basketball, you have to be on your game. All right. And that's what we're getting ready to do right now. 3 takeaways from UConn women's basketball coach Gino Auriemma, Ryan, as the Huskies continue summer workouts. Um, it was other than the 3 main topics that I will get your take on, and then I'll be quiet. I promise. You're always like, Phil, man, when is Phil going to stop talking so I can talk? I'm telling you right now, though, Ryan. What I caught my eye, actually, it wasn't too far scrolling down the article about how these players have to, and all 11 players, that's good news, are in attendance, except for freshman Ice Brady, who we went over
right.
the other day. And
Yeah.
that's for good reason, because he's at the training camp for the USA Basketball's U18 team. With that said, Ryan, I think other than the 3 main topics that you will go over with everybody today, I think really that what caught my eye was how they have to reset for the new season. They have to get a plan together with their athletic trainers, their nutritionists, and the strength coaches. It said to determine what area of their body they need to work on. And that's a good point because when Maria brought that up about it's always interesting, and when they don't talk, we don't talk enough about what these women do on the basketball court as far as breaking down their moves and stuff. And that took me back. And then she said it's also important what happens off the court. And that's exactly what they're saying, Ryan. And you preach that to me so much. You're like, Phil, everybody watches the game. They watch the game, right? But how about do we really watch how hard they work off the court?
Yeah, and most of the time it's probably more important about the stuff that happens behind the scenes off the court that nobody really even sees and pays attention to or really even thinks about. But yeah, I mean, I just think for Ayanna Patterson, Lou Lopez, it's obviously their first week. Of course, Ice Brady is with the USA team, so
Mm-hmm.
she'll have a couple weeks to try to catch up. But like we were saying the other day, I don't think it'll really affect her too much. But the first week just allows these new players like Patterson and Lopez to kind of adapt to the new environment, build chemistry with their teammates. And for the other players like Caroline Ducharme, Dorka Juhas, Aubrey Griffin, they're more focused on recovery and condition after these off-season injuries and trying to just overcome those injuries from last season, trying to heal up those injuries as fast as they can so they can keep on practicing with their teammates. But
Mm-hmm.
Coach Gino was asked about the roster, if there's any chance we see any new players before the regular season starts. And Gino said it's very unlikely the Huskies will get another player from the transfer portal or any walk-on players. So the roster is likely set at the current 11 players on the team. I don't think that's really a surprise to anybody. I think we kind of pretty much knew the roster was going to be set. Gino said there's not really any other players that he saw on the transfer portal that could really make a difference on the team. And it's very, very rare to see a walk-on player, especially at UConn. But
I think it's really rare for Gino to bring in someone like Lou Lopez too, because of the way that video bumped, huh?
Yeah, I mean, especially from a smaller school like that, and from Fairfield, that nobody really even knew about.
That's a good take. I didn't think about that because I think a lot of people that even watch this podcast, they will not admit it, but I think they're still a little bit shocked about Lou Lopez. I really am.
Yeah, and I'm still a little shocked too, but I can't wait to see what she brings to the team. I know a lot of UConn fans are really excited to have her, and we are too. So I can't wait to see what she brings. Gino was also asked about the players, who's at full strength, who's trying to get right. And when he was asked about the full strength of players, he said 5.5 players are healthy. Paige, Lou, Aaliyah, and Patterson are in full swing. Nika's going to join that group after she dealt with the non-COVID illness. So she's going to be back to full strength for this upcoming week. And also the half player is Amari DeBerry. Gino said she kind of comes and goes. Some days she's ready and some days she's not. So Gino, he was kind of unsure about the impact she can make and have for the Huskies this upcoming season. Obviously she had the preseason injury. And not really, not really. That was Aubrey Griffin. Excuse me. I always get those two messed up. I know I got flamed for that before, for mistaking Aubrey Griffin for Amari DeBerry. But for DeBerry, she didn't really see a lot of time last year, and I think a lot of people are kind of excited to see what she can bring and her talents, how she can kind of improve on her game and upgrade that to the next level. But Gino said he's not really sure yet what she can bring to this team. But and also Gino said everybody's goal is different throughout these workouts. Dorka's working very hard to come back from a wrist surgery. Caroline's still on crutches, but she's in the gym every single day. And AZ also, she missed 11 games with that foot injury. So she's been doing individual workouts to try to work up to playing with her teammates. And I found this very interesting as well. At the end of the article, Gino was talking about Paige, and he said she needs to adapt her body to get bigger and stronger. He said she'll never look like Maya Moore, but will probably look like Brianna Stewart the rest of her life. And then he told reporters that he said to Paige, you do a lot for a lot of other people. I think it's time to start doing a lot of things for yourself. So I think that's a pretty deep quote, and I think it really is true because Paige does so much for her teammates. But I think it's really important that she does get a little stronger, a little bit bigger, and tries to work on her own game.
Yeah. All three, you did a great job breaking that down. I couldn't have did it any better. I'm glad you were prepared because guess what? I was not, like usual. But no, really, Ryan, we talked about it yesterday. And I'll say it again. I believe that I am literally one of the biggest Paige Bueckers fans around. I've just always been. It doesn't, sometimes there's a player that comes along, man, and especially in sports, there's a player that comes along that really steals you. You need to follow them. You need to see what kind of career that unfolds. You hope nothing but the best for them. And going back to when she first made her very first appearance at UConn, I wasn't really a big follower. I mean, I knew about UConn women's basketball. Obviously, they're them dominating every season. The big win streak they went on, the iconic players that have gone through this city. With that said, Ryan, I just did not get that much into it before Paige fell onto the floor. and appeared with UConn. So, with that said, I am a huge fan of Paige Bueckers. And in no way do I want to look like I'm switching the topic around or switching the story. I'm not getting people hyped up like always. I'm trying to keep it cool here and trying to back what I have to say. With that said, with me loving Paige Bueckers so much as a player and wanted to see her rise to the top, I want to literally see her in the Hall of Fame one of these days. I really do. It would be a beautiful thing to see that. I know that you probably agree with that 100%. I hope you do, because look at the way you and I have followed this team. And the main reason, we have to admit, is her. Right. It's her. And are we ever going to slow down when she leaves? No, because that is thanks that we can always go back and say thanks to Paige Bueckers. All right. With that said, I told you, Ryan, it's funny that Gino said that, because about she needs to spend more time. She's helping so many other people out, which is great. Hey, that's another big positive. That's a good heart right there. Good-hearted person. But, sometimes, and that's life, man. That's life. Sometimes I could be like, Ryan, you've done so much for me. It's time for you to take a step back. All right. It's time for you to take a step back. Why don't you take a month off of the podcast? I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But why don't you take a month off and just let me handle everything? The thumbnail picture. Just, Ryan, you've worked so hard. Why don't you take time and just spend time with who you want to and just take a break from the pod? And that's what he's basically saying to her. And I like that a lot. That's the kind of head coach he is. Great head coach, great player. With that said, I told you, Ryan, that as much as I love her as a player, I do not really believe that the size. Now, the talent is there. Obviously, the talent's there. That's not a question. But the size, as far as going into a professional league, overseas or right here at home, the WNBA, it's a little bit scary to me. And you have to start thinking about those kind of things. Even though UConn Huskies fans want to see a national championship, I get it. We're just not here just to discuss Paige Bueckers' future. But you brought it up. The last number 3 topic of the day on this episode, the plan for Paige Bueckers in this article. And that's why I bring it up, because, I think it's just out of respect for Gino. Look at him. Look at how many coaches do you find they're worried, they're actually concerned. They want their future players, or they want their graduated players to do very well in their future. I think that's a beautiful thing out of Gino. So for him to consider that, Ryan, that's big. But again, it's a little concerning to me as far as the size factor when you talk about Bueckers in the WNBA.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's why we've seen so many UConn players to begin with in the WNBA that have graduated from UConn and then got selected to the WNBA and have pretty good careers, coming from UConn, and that's all thanks to Gino and the coaching staff.
Yeah.
But I think we both found it very interesting when we saw that on the article yesterday, because there's been all this talk about, and I think everybody's, at least a couple people are assuming that Paige Bueckers is probably going to be the number 1 overall pick. But when you talk about it in terms of her size, I think it's very important that Gino is making her really, focus on that for this off season and try to build up her strength a little bit more in terms of playing for the next level, because I think that is really an important thing. And she doesn't have to be the number 1 pick, but if she's taken in the first round, I'm sure, whatever team drafts her is going to have somebody on her right away about her diet, her working out, all those things. But it would take her game to the next level if she does become bigger and stronger for this off season, because like you said, the talent level is beyond there. It's through the roof. But just for her to get bigger and stronger and have more of a defensive impact, I think that would help her out a lot defensively. It would just take her game to a whole nother level.
She's one of them that I feel like, I could even back my word up back my story up. Now, I don't know. I can't memorize them all, but I would make an argument even over the past 10 years with every single one on that ESPNW list of number one recruits coming out of high school. I can make a strong argument over the past 10 years, as since I graduated high school, 2012, every single one, number one on that list, there's a strong argument that none of them are at the talent level as Paige Bueckers was and still is coming out of high school and currently in their career in a college.
Yeah, because she was the first freshman to win the AP Player of the Year award, right?
There
So
you
that
go.
that
There you
speaks
go.
for itself right there. And
Mhm.
then last year, of course, the injury kind of took things down a little bit, I guess.
Yep.
But she was able to come back and still play strong. And then she has all of this all season to get completely healthy again. And I just hope she can stay healthy for the rest of her career, especially in UConn and especially going forward as well. If she chooses to play overseas or in the WNBA, whatever happens in the future of her basketball career. But she's definitely a very, very talented player. All of us already know that here at UConn and around the world. But if she can work on her body just a little bit more, I think she has the potential to be a very, very special player, not only for UConn for these next 2 years, but in the WNBA as well.
Did I hear that? Did I hear you say that right? Around the world?
Yeah, around the
Around the
world.
world. Now you get that. I understand that. That's mind blowing. I mean,
Yeah.
to only be a college basketball player and you're known around the world. This is like a Kobe Kobe Bryant on the rise. I mean, come on.
It's crazy.
You got to be kidding me. With that said, also, the Huskies injury report. Um, you know, you broke down the other two topics very well. I won't get much into it because obviously, like I said, you did an incredible job. If I'm a UConn fan sitting here right now, and it makes it easier, I guess, on you and I, to have those no negative topics, on these episodes. That's what I like, because if you're a Huskies fan, Ryan, I'm not sure if there's much to complain about at this point in the season. You have other teams that are probably hoping to get some roster spots filled up. Still some coaches that are hoping to, that are a little bit concerned. Okay, I just had 2, 3, 4 players graduate. What happens now? Do we go into rebuild mode? Do we get some more transfers? But at this point, I'm starting to see, we had a lot of episodes over the past couple of weeks, and we're starting to see this roster settle in. I really like, and I would be honest with you if I thought differently, but I really like what I'm seeing. I don't see a lot, really rare that you say perfect. But I tell you, man, during an off season, there's always something to work on and improve. But as far as this roster goes, Ryan, and the injury report, it's starting to look pretty close to perfect.
Yeah, there's not really any sort of weak spots on this roster or team. I don't think. I'm going to be completely honest, and I think one of the things that Gino emphasized was UConn obviously lost Avina, Kristen Williams, and Olivia Nelson-Ododa to the draft.
Yeah.
And UConn was able to replace all three of those players with Lou and the two new recruits in Ice Brady and Ayanna Patterson. So that was a huge thing. That was a huge accomplishment that Gino and the coaching staff was able to get done through this all season, to be able to replace those three big players, replace those three slots on the roster was huge for this team. So these 11 players that are on the roster now, I can't wait to see all 11 of them in action in the regular season once Dorka and Caroline, Aubrey Griffin work out through these injuries during summer workouts, get right. AZ Fudd working on her foot. And obviously Gino said Paige is completely healthy. So that's great news as well. But working out with some of these players through the summer camps and getting them ready for the regular season. I'm really excited for all these 11 players, seeing them in action.
I know I told you no comments, but just one, and I wanted to get to this. It kind of, I'm not gonna say it bothered me, but Gene Morris goes, enjoyed your coverage of UConn, but you are missing the point over the Caroline Ducharme talent debate. You should take some time and go to YouTube and watch Ducharme highlights, especially the Creighton and Butler games. Those 2 games showcase the talent that she has, and I think that you're missing.
Yeah, I saw that comment
Hold on,
last
let me
night
just
as
say very
well.
quickly before you break that down, Ryan. Let me just say this. Aaliyah Edwards, Paige Bueckers, Nika Mule, Lou Lopez, Dorka Uhas, Ice Brady, Caroline Ducharme, Ayanna Patterson, AZ Fudd, Amari DeBerry, Aubrey DeGriffin. Aubrey Griffin, not DeGriffin. Griffin, Aubrey Griffin. Did I miss anybody on that roster? I hope not.
No.
Because since the beginning of this year, we have been preaching this roster. Every single name is loaded. Every single name on this roster. It's the basketball capital of the world. Every single name on this roster has a potential to reach the WNBA or professional league.
Yeah, and I honestly really I don't understand. Like I said, I saw this comment last night, and it seems like whenever we bring up Caroline Ducharme, no matter how many good things we say about it, we continue to get flamed, which I don't mind.
Hey, let them have it. Let them have it. Tell them how you feel, Ryan. This is your time in the spotlight, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like, we can't say enough good things about Caroline Ducharme whenever we bring her up, because I obviously know everybody's so high on her, and I am too. But I mean, I apparently can't say enough good things about her. But we both watched every single UConn game last year. We have all the recaps up on our channel, so feel free to go watch those. And I'm sure we said a ton of good things about Caroline Ducharme throughout those recaps. But I mean, she was huge last season, and she played the whole season with the hip injury. So I have no bad things to say about anybody on this roster, let alone Caroline Ducharme. I think all 11 players there's not really any weak spots on the team. I've been saying ever since UConn lost in a national championship and these 2 new recruits came in and UConn got Lou Lopez, I said, this team has a chance to win the national championship. And I really do believe that for this season. Maria Marino said it as well. So Caroline Ducharme obviously brings so much to the team, and I keep saying it over and over. I can't wait to watch Caroline Ducharme, AZ Fudd, and Paige Bueckers, all 3 of them in the starting lineup, because I really do believe those 3 are the future of women's college basketball. The trio is going to be amazing to watch this season.
Well, yeah. And you know what Scotty McCreery would say? It's just everything you just summed up right there. Damn straight. Damn straight. Hey, you know what? Damn straight. I have to get out of here, Ryan. It's Listen Up, presented by Dempsey's in Sportsland. Ryan, have a great weekend, bud, and I will see you next week.